So Wesley, 1 hour after the start of the final round, you've drawn your game very quickly against Levon. Maybe just a few words about that. Did you expect a game? What happened there?
Well, of course, coming to the game, into the game, I knew Levon was doing badly, but still, he had the white pieces, yeah, so I wouldn't have imagined that he would simply go for a draw because he always fights, always plays for a win, I think, with either color. And also I had the black pieces, yeah, so I was playing normal moves. But it turns out he wanted to finish the tournament right away, which I had no objections to either. And yeah, I think in general, I learned quite a bit from this tournament. It's my first candidates here, and just the experience and the lessons learned could be very valuable in the future.
I was just gonna go there. So -2, I guess, of course, that is below your expectations. But what do you think? What is maybe the main lesson, or what do you take away from this tournament?
Well, first of all, candidates tournament is quite a special tournament because it's a qualification for the World Championship cycle. So I think only champion is really not disappointed, or maybe second place. I mean, of course, second place is a great result, but still, you don't qualify for anything. And coming to the tournament, of course, I had high hopes and would preferably try to win it. Well, there are many lessons learned. I think just to say briefly, I mean, I don't want to mention everything, yeah, because then my opponents will learn about it. What's the point? But I think generally there's more pressure here in the candidates, and there's more stress. It's such a super long tournament, it's 18 days. And you just have to come mentally and physically prepared. You just have to be ready. You need to have a lot of energy. Each game here can run up to 5-6 hours. Not to mention we prepare before the tournament and during the tournament. So it takes a lot of toll on the mind. So it's just important to come in prepared, not only in chess openings, but also emotionally, and have people around you.
Speaking of chess openings, I think as a lot of people know, you're probably the only player here who was working and preparing on his own without a second. In hindsight, what do you think of that choice?
Everyone has, yeah?
I guess so, yes.
Well, I think I'm just different. I think every player has their own style. Every player has their likes and dislikes. Each player, or like each person, is special and is different in a way. And somehow I'm just used to working by myself. Of course, I work with a few other people before coming here in this tournament. But during tournament, somehow I just prefer working by myself. Well, my mother accompanies me to every tournament I go to, and she's a big help emotionally and mentally. But there are only a limited amount of time in a tournament, and so I like making decisions on my own. I think I say every athlete knows himself better than others. It just didn't work as I hoped for in this tournament. I'm pretty sure it will work in others, but of course having a second might be an idea to think that everyone does it.
Well, we appreciate your honesty about all this. Now, a question about the 3 games that are still going on a few floors below us. We know, I think, you're rooting for Fabi, of course.
Yeah.
But what do you think, objectively, not what your heart tells you, but what do you think is going to happen today? What are your predictions after an hour?
Well, I saw their positions like 20 minutes ago, yeah, and I haven't checked it with the computer. Well, as I said, I still believe. I think Fabi has a 90% chance to win the tournament. First of all, he's half a point more, and he's a very solid and stable player who rarely loses. So I have a strong feeling he won't lose this game, yeah, with the black pieces against Grischuk. And therefore, Sergei Karyakin absolutely has to try to win with the white pieces against Ding. And Ding hasn't lost a game so far in this tournament. Not to mention he's also really solid as a Chinese #1. Of course, if Sergei wins and Fabi draws, then Sergey would win based on tiebreak. But yeah, then he absolutely has to do something. And seeing their position, it seems like Black's or Ding Liren's position is very holdable.
Okay, now that the tournament is almost over, tell me, who is the player whose games have impressed you the most here? Is there someone that's maybe surprised you or something?
Well, I suppose two players, yeah. I mean, Fabiano, of course, and Sergey. Well, Fabiano bounced back from a very bad tournament in Waikansei, and he's bounced back brilliantly. He seems he can win all types of positions, and he also has the so-called luck factor on his side when he wins equal or bad positions, like against Kramnik on the early rounds. And he's just a very good chess player. I don't think it's all about his famous so-called opening preparation. But I think he's just a very good player, and he's a very calm and steady. And well, of course, that's unfortunate for me because he's my competitor for the most part. And also Sergey, because he lost like 2 games in the very beginning, and even before the tournament, people weren't giving him high chances to win or even do well because it's like the lowest seed in this tournament. So his ability to bounce back and just be stable, I call him the Iron Man player. I don't know why.
And okay, so thanks a lot for that. A final question about you. What's next for you?
Well, we're going home to Minnesota, try to recover and rest. I mean, this tournament took a lot of energy, being 20 days long. We spent almost a month here in Germany. And in about 2 weeks' time, the USA Championship is going to start. So, yeah, so for me, in my family, we just move on from one tournament to the next, and one game to the next, and forget about the past.
Okay, maybe one final question. How do you judge your chances at the Olympiad to defend your gold?
It's always a tricky question.
I know.
Because defending a title is never easy. There's the added nervous tension, which you can control, but it's never easy to defend a title. I'm hoping we'll win it again. Oh, we'll see what happens. I also know for a fact that Dominguez might change federation from Cuba to the US. I'm not sure who's gonna help him or whatnot, or how his progress is going. But the last time I checked, he lives in Florida, so I'm not sure if he'll be in time for the Olympiad. But if he is, then we'll have a really great, much better chance. But if not, we'll just try our best. After all, we have the big 3.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time and best of luck in your future tournaments.
Thank you.